When you live closer to the city or even the suburbs and you decide to take a weekend trip to the mountains, the purpose of the trip is to get away from the noise, all of the hustle and bustle, and go to a more quieter place. To focus on your new goals for the new year and to get away from your regular atmosphere, your environment. So, of course, going to the mountains, is going to be different environment, different atmosphere, different type of people, and a different culture as well. So, you should expect for it to be different. But what I didn't expect of how I felt towards the end of my trip. I recorded a video that I wasn't planning on really talking about it. It wasn't until I listened to a video from Rashida Dow. I was listening to her live video, and I think I caught it like halfway in the middle. And the title of the video was Ask Me Anything. So someone asked her the fact that she's been living in Mexico for so many years, does she still feel othered? And as she was um, giving some examples and talking about the subject that she will always be othered, no matter how much Spanish that she learns, that she would always be othered, right? So it got me to thinking about the video that I had recorded in my car the day before. And I said, you know what? I was going to just leave it in my phone and let it be. But when I heard this discussion back and forth on Rashida Dow's live, and she is the co-founder of Exodus Summit. So I'm always tapping into her videos along with Stephanie Perry's as well, because I am a part of the Exodus Summit community. So this is what I recorded the day before I left on my weekend trip to the mountains. It's a little strange sometimes when you come to a location where there's not a lot of people that look like me, and you know that people are staring at you. And sometimes I wonder, is it in our own self-conscious? But it's real, right? The looks that you get, but then I look beyond all of that. I'm there for a reason, to get what I want. They should be glad that I am spending money in their establishment. But it is what it is. When you're in Georgia, in the countryside of Georgia, it is what it is. So now I want to hear from you in the comments. Was there ever a time that you felt othered, where you went to a location and you may have felt like you were out of place and you felt othered, or maybe you were a part of a group, or went to a conference, or at a meeting at your job? Did you feel other during certain situations? I want to hear some comments down below, and let's talk about it. I also want to share in this video my whole trip. It was a great trip to the mountains that I took as my first solo trip of the year. I'm going to be sharing some of the video and some of the highlights of that trip as well. Now, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, I would love for you to subscribe so that we can continue to build this community and support one another in our journey to early retirement. And I want to thank all of my new subscribers within the past month that have subscribed to my channel. Thank you for your support. I so appreciate it. And please like and share the video with other people that you think getting ready to retire, whether it's early or right on time. And if you think of someone that may have been in a position where they felt othered, go ahead and share this video, because I would love to get their input on how they have felt and maybe how they dealt with the situation as well. So let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Just Lovely Living. My name is Tanya, and here is where I am documenting my journey towards early retirement to do some slow traveling. And my hope is to inspire and encourage other women over the age of 50 who are looking to do the similar path, looking to early retire to do some meaningful and intentional slow traveling, leaving that 9 to 5 behind, putting it behind you, and living a life pretty much on our own terms through some strategic planning, practical tools, and a supportive community like the one that we are building right here on this channel. We are very small right now, but I would love for us to do this together. So if you are a woman who is over 50 and looking to early retire and do some slow traveling, I would love for you to come aboard and join this channel, and let's talk about our experiences together, and we can motivate each other to keep us moving forward. So today I wanted to talk about my recent trip that I had the New Year's Eve weekend. I went to the Blue Ridge Mountains, and it was a twofold trip. So I stayed in Ellijay, Georgia. It was a cheaper route to go and stay in Ellijay, and then Blue Ridge Mountain is probably about 20 to 30 minutes drive north. So to get back to the other end, we're going to talk about the not so great part of the trip first, and then I'll start to share some of the great scenery and the places that I went, the food that I had that was great. We'll talk about that as well. So othered, right? Is it a term that people normally use? They may feel outcast or out of place, a little awkward in certain groups, right? There's all kind of words that we can use, but I want to talk about the word other, and let's take a look at the meaning of othered. So in the Webster Dictionary, it says being the one remaining, not included, being distinct from the first mentioned or implied, not the same, being different. I was curious about this last one here. Disturbingly or threateningly different. And the example they give, like an alien or being exotic. But it's amazing how when you talk about being other, the other party that you're being othered by may feel threatened by you. Being in their town, you look a little different, maybe you talk a little different, and they're staring at you looking like you don't belong here. Well, towards the end of my trip, so my trip was from Thursday to Sunday, and so on Saturday, I decided to go to an apple farm and just check out, what they had there, some apple products. I wanted to get some syrup, some apple butter, and I'll show you the video of all the things that I did actually buy when I was there. But when you step in, everything that I got came up to $31. It's not bad. Got some apple butter syrup. I got some salsa because I know I have some chips at home. I always love a good apple butter. And some vinegar. And then I've got some popcorn and some peanut brittle. This was one of my mother's favorite candies. So yeah, good visit. $31 of stuff. And I was not there. Bad. But when you step into the building, it wasn't a lot of people there on this particular day. And I believe we're really not in that season for picking apples, and tourism time frame, it was very low, right? So where I stayed, it probably was about a 2-minute drive south. So it was easy to get to. But when you walked in, it just seemed like everybody just stopped and turned and stared. It felt that way. Now, I'm thinking, could that have been my own subconscious mind thinking like, maybe I don't belong in this place? But I just carried on. I got my cart and went through the whole building looking at all the products that they had. They had pies, fresh pies that were made, a lot of old type of candies they had, but everything was pretty much jarred. They had jarred pickles, jarred apples, and then of course you can get apples as well. So they had a variety of different types of apples that were in bags that you could purchase. But the whole time, you know, I'm trying to somewhat videotape, not to be so obvious that I'm videotaping, just little clips of the different products so that I can come share that information with you here on the channel. I might have felt out of place in the beginning, but as I went on, I was there for a reason, to look at the Apple products, to pick up what I needed, and just to carry on. You kind of just overlook it, right? You look beyond if someone is staring at you. They did have a little restaurant there, and then you can take the food in the middle of the location where they had benches to eat. It just felt like everybody stopped and turned their head when I was walking by. But you kind of just look beyond all of that. You know, in the back of your mind, people may be staring at you, but they could be staring at you for all the good reasons as well, right? We can't always think that it's a bad reason. They're just curious to maybe a new person coming to their town, a person of color coming into their neighborhood of where they shop, and they don't see too many people of color in the area. But yeah, I would like to hear what your thoughts are of ever going to somewhere of feeling othered. I do realize as I begin my travels, it's something in the back of my mind. Am I going to be conscious about that, thinking that I'm feeling out of place? But it's up to us to enjoy the environment that we're in and know our purpose of being there, to kind of overlook those times that we may be othered, right? So I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. I would love to hear your comments down below. But now, enough of that. It was a small little discomfort that kind of just went away in the moment, really. But now I want to share with you the rest of my trip up in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia. So this was a weekend trip that I planned at the last minute. I was at work a week prior, and my manager or my director was asking us who's going to take off for New Year's Day and the day after. I realized I had not taken Christmas Eve, so I had an opportunity to use that. So here you got a 4-day weekend. Yes, I'm going to take off for the New Year's holiday, and I'm going to plan me a trip so that I can go off into the mountains and start planning, or continue to plan, because I've been planning for the past 2 months with my goals. But yeah, let me take this time to schedule a trip, and I went online to see what's the closest areas. I didn't want to drive. I definitely didn't want to fly somewhere, because when you're flying, that can kill almost a whole day. So where can I drive? No more than 2 hours, looking out at places around the Atlanta area. Hey, let's go to the mountains. I saw this trip to go in the Blue Ridge Mountains. It's a scenic train ride, so that's what I came across first. And I looked into it. There was a 2-hour ride where you go up to the point of going to Tennessee, and then you come back to the Blue Ridge Mountains of Georgia. And the second one was 4 hours. 4 hours, you go up for an hour, you get off the train, and then the small little city in Tennessee, you get 2 hours. Well, I didn't want to be spending 2 hours in the city, go eat or whatever, but I just felt like that was a lot of time. And then you come back for another hour, which made that trip for 4 hours. So I decided on the 2-hour trip. I thought that would be perfect for me. We just go up, we stop so that they can do something with the train. I don't know if they had to refuel or whatever they had to do, but they had like a 15-minute stop. We didn't get off, but what we did do was switch sides. So one side of the train, you're going to see the mountainside. The other side, you're going to see the riverside. So we went up, you switched for 15 minutes. We just went around in a loop and everybody was on the opposite side. But it was a wonderful trip. That was my main purpose of going up there, going to the Blue Ridge Mountains. When I was making reservations for the hotel, I decided to reserve a hotel 30 minutes south. It was like $40 less per day by going to the city right below Blue Ridge. Ellijay is a small little country city, and they have some wineries up there, but it's a place where at some point throughout the year you can go and pick apples. So I may find myself going back up there when there's more people, when the season is right, during the fall probably would be a good time to go as well. When you're in the mountains, you're looking at all the trees, so that would be great as well. But when you're doing your search, sometimes some hotels don't come up, so I chose the Comfort Inn. It's not a typical hotel that I would select, but it was okay for the price and for the time frame. When I got there, the room wasn't ready. Check-in is at 3, and I think I got there about 2:15. So I was able to go across the street, go to Moe's, and just wait until the room was ready. So the first day just consists of me getting settled in, not really doing too much of anything because it was already after 3, unpack. And the second day comes around, and that was the day I went to Blue Ridge. For the train ride was the second day. So I had pretty much the whole morning to kind of relax. The hotel did offer a complimentary breakfast. Then I decided to go across the street. They had a Walmart. I needed hairpins. You always when you're traveling, seem to forget something, right? So I forgot my contact solution. So I said, let me go to Walmart. So it was a nice little walk to go across the street. And then I was able to come back and get ready for my trip to the mountains. All right, I'm headed off to my train ride. And I'll be touching bases with you throughout the ride. We are headed to Platform C. As you see here, it's the Blue Ridge Scenic Railroad. Here we go. This is where I'm going to board. They're going to start boarding in 15 minutes. Yep.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard the Blue Ridge Scenic Railway. We wanted to let you know that the concession car is open. We have cold drinks, we have hot apple cider, hot chocolate, hot coffee, and lots of snacks. Our beer and wine bar is also open, where we'll be happy to make you a mimosa, pour you a glass of wine, or pop you an ice cold beer. We're located in the center of the train, so come on down and see us before we get rolling.
3 of them at least.
Choo choo.
We have an unusual rule. If you play golf on that course, they require that you bring 2 pairs of pants, just in case you get a hole in one.